We want to find the standard form and then sketch the graph of this hyperbola that's in general form. We're going to do this very similarly to what we did with our ellipse. So let's first of all group our x-coordinates. We'll have 4x squared minus 24x minus, if we group our y-coordinates, we're going to have 9y squared plus 72y. Be careful with that. Because there's a minus in front of 72, notice that when we put it in parentheses, we would distribute the negative. So that is a lot of times a tricky part for students. And then we're going to move the 72 to the other side. So now before we can complete the square, we need to make sure that the coefficients of our squared terms are 1. So let's factor out 4. And that would give us in our first parentheses x squared minus 6x. Minus, in our second parentheses, we're going to factor out the 9, and that will leave us y squared plus 8y equals 72. And now the process of completing the square, we're going to have 4 times x squared minus 6x. Half of 6 is 3, so we're going to add in a 3 squared, minus 9 times y squared plus 8y. Half of 8 is 4. So we're going to add in the quantity 4 squared equals 72. And then our equation isn't balanced anymore. So if you'll notice on the left side, we entered in 3 squared, but it's times 4. And so 9 times 4 is 36. So we're going to need to add 36. And then in our second part of the equation, we added in 4 squared. And that 4 squared is times a negative 9. And so we're going to need to subtract 144. So we're going to say minus 144 because that's what 9 times 16 is. And so now, rewriting our hyperbola, we have 4 times x minus 3 squared minus 9 times y plus 4 squared is equal to 72 plus 36 minus 144 is equal to negative 36. Now this doesn't look like it's in standard form, so we're going to need to divide each of our terms by negative 36. Now notice when we do this, it's going to make this first term negative. So I'm going to write that in the second place. I'm going to write this as x minus 3 squared over 9, and that's what's subtracted. And it's going to make this term positive, negative 9 divided by negative 36. So we're going to write it first, and this will be y plus 4 squared over 4 is equal to 1. So now we can tell that the center of our hyperbola is going to be 3, negative 4. And we can from that center, vertically we're going to find our vertices up 2 and down 2. So our vertices are going to be at 3, negative 2, and 3, negative 6. And horizontally, we have a 9. So if we move right, 1, 2, 3, and left, 1, 2, 3, we can make our little box that will help us to draw in our hyperbola. So the asymptotes are the diagonals of this rectangle that we just created. And our hyperbola has to go through the vertices, which were at 3, negative 2. So here's one branch of our hyperbola, and at 3, negative 6. And so we have the center, we have the vertices, we have what our graph looks like. Now just to review the other things, to find our foci, we would use the equation that c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So c squared would be equal to 4 plus 9. So c is going to be the square root of 13. So to write our foci, we would start at our center and go up the square root of 13 and down the square root of 13. So one of our foci will be 3, negative 4 plus the square root of 13, and the other one will be 3, negative 4 minus the square root of 13. We can also write in our asymptotes. So our asymptotes will have the equation y plus 4 is equal to plus or minus, take the square root of what falls under the y term, so that would be 2, over, divided by the square root of what falls under the x, so square root of 9 is 3, times x minus 3. And those are our asymptotes.